It's Ash from Super Videos, back for another promo breakdown for an upcoming episode of The Walking Dead. This is my promo breakdown for Season 11, Episode 13. Now, for those of you who have not watched Season 11, Episode 12 on AMC Premiere, you may not want to watch this video because we'll talk about things that may spoil some events from the previous episode for you. There's actually a few very interesting details in this trailer that I do want to talk about. We're gonna see the introduction of a new character who we have on screen here, and there's a possibility that she could be sent by someone that we know to hunt down the survivors. We're gonna talk a little bit more about that in this breakdown, but before we do that, one thing I do want to mention is that there's a possibility that she could be associated with Negan, but there's also a possibility that she could be associated with the remaining member of the Reapers, Leah. So with that said, stay tuned, we'll be right back to break this down. As always, before we jump into this, smash that like button, subscribe to join our community, and press the bell to be notified when I upload on the channel. With that said, let's waste no more time and dive right into it. So this trailer actually starts with this shot of Aaron walking into this church. In the voiceover, he says there's a group on the western border, and I'm assuming that's the western border to their territory. The territory for the Alliance that consists of Alexandria, Hilltop, and Oceanside. We definitely got a pretty good understanding of where each of these communities is at when it comes to the well-being of the community. So I think that this is potentially yet another possible threat that could come in and cause problems. So they're being proactive and trying to deal with it before it gets out of hand. But then we have this shot of Aaron talking to someone. I'm assuming that's Gabriel, but I could be wrong. Last time we saw him, he was at Commonwealth. So maybe Aaron travels to see Gabe at Commonwealth. But then we have this shot of Gabe and Aaron. They're watching this one particular building. Aaron says in the voiceover, "We want to make first contact and offer them help." So this goes back to them trying to be proactive rather than reactive to the situation and trying to deal with a potential threat before it becomes a threat. So make their presence known and investigate whether this group is friendly or not. And then we have this shot of the two of them, Gabe and Aaron, most likely still around the same area that we saw in the previous shot where the building was, where this new group resides. In the voiceover, Gabe says, "What do you know about these people?" referring to this new group. And then we have this shot of Gabe, Aaron in front of that building that we saw. They're waiting for most likely their leader or the people in charge to walk out and talk to them. We also do see two other people behind them who I think may actually be with the new mysterious group. I don't think those people came with Gabe and Aaron, but I could be wrong. I think they were just escorted to this location by these two individuals. And then we have the door opening and their leader walking out. Now this is pretty awesome because it looks very similar or reminiscent of Alpha's first scene. If you remember, she's also bald, so there's a lot of similarities, which is pretty cool. It's also reminiscent of Negan walking out, so this might be a subtle clue that she's another potential big bad for this new part of the season, which I don't think we need. Like, we don't need a new bad guy or bad girl in this case to threaten the survivors. We're past that. This is the final season. They should just build up the Commonwealth. But they do something very interesting where they do bring in Commonwealth into the mix, and there's a possibility that this group could be sent by someone we know. We'll get to that in a little bit. So it's possible that this group is not just a isolated group on their own, which makes the situation a little better. So it's not like another Reapers situation all over again. But we do see this female bald character walking out. I'm assuming she's in charge of this group or the leader of this group. She looks pretty badass. There's a lot of rumors about who she is. There's a possibility that they could be doing a version of the New Frontier story from the Telltales of the Walking Dead, which is definitely a possibility. I've done a video talking about that already, so I'm not gonna dive deeper into that here, but we don't know who she is. She's a mysterious character at this point. We did see her briefly in the main trailer that they released for season 11 part 2. Now, it is interesting that they do say later in this trailer that she could be sent by someone that we know, because there were 2 mysterious characters that appeared in the trailer. One of them was this female character who was with Negan. She was actually in 2 shots with Negan. And when this first trailer came out for season 11 part 2, and we saw these scenes and kind of put the pieces together, we were assuming that Negan ran into this new group with this new female character being a part of that group, but also this female character being a part of that group. Now, we don't know if that's a fact or not at this point. There's nothing pointing towards that, but there's also nothing pointing against it. So it's possible. And the fact that later on, like I said, they do say this group was sent by someone that we know, it's possible that Negan could be at the center of that story, but it's also possible that Leah is at the center of that, and she could be sending this group to take care of the survivors because of what Maggie and the others did to the Reapers. But that's everything I'm gonna say when it comes to that. Let's continue with the rest of the main teaser or promo that we were looking at. The next shot in the teaser is actually Elijah looking through binoculars at someone coming in. He's actually watching this guy falling off his horse. I don't know who this is. I don't think it's Aaron or anyone we know, but someone is obviously injured. It could have been walkers that did it. It could have been this new group that we just saw who were responsible. And if they are responsible, it means that they are a hostile threat, which is interesting. Then we have this shot of Marco, Elijah, and Lydia, most likely near the body of the guy that just fell off his horse. And then we have this shot of Maggie, Elijah, and Lydia talking. They're looking at a map. Elijah said someone we know must have sent him, referring to the guy that fell off his horse. So that's what I was saying earlier on when I said that that group could be sent by someone that they know, because Aaron and Gabe didn't tell them about where Hilltop is. How would they know where to send the guy? You know what I mean? So there's a possibility that whoever sent the guy on horseback who fell off his horse was sent by someone that the survivors know. At this point, it might be Leah or it might be Negan. I'm leaning more towards Leah at this point, but the shots with Negan that I mentioned that was in the trailer, in the main trailer, makes things a little complicated. But at this point, I'm leaning more towards Leah. I mean, Leah definitely has a case for wanting vengeance on Maggie specifically. Then we have this shot of Maggie walking past this truck, and she's obviously near Hilltop. And then we have this shot of the same truck driving away, and then this shot of this bald female character and the people that she's with. They look very interesting. I mean, they look like they're not messing around. I don't know if they're friendly or not, but they definitely look like they could cause some problems. In the voiceover, Lance says, "I asked for 100 troops. There's no way Milton doesn't notice." So I think what's happening here is Aaron went to Lance from Commonwealth and proposed that they help them with this situation. Send in a few people to take care of this situation with this new group if they're a hostile group. And I think Lance doesn't want to do it because that risks Milton finding out, because at this point Milton doesn't want to stretch her resources and help Alexandria, because if there's no Hilltop, Oceanside, Alexandria pact, there's no deal. And at this point Hilltop and Oceanside don't want to have anything to do with Commonwealth. So let's see what happens. I mean, definitely interesting, and I'm intrigued to see whether they're gonna change their mind or not. But when it comes to Lance, it appears that he does in fact send a few people to help Alexandria, a few Commonwealth soldiers to help Alexandria, because we will see later on that they are engaged in some sort of a battle and a few of them do die. And then we have this shot of Aaron, some people in the background walking him to some place. Then we have this shot of Commonwealth soldiers in some sort of a battle and one of them is dead. So I'm assuming that the group that we saw is responsible for this, but I could be wrong. But then we have this shot of more Commonwealth soldiers dead on the ground. We have the truck in the background that Maggie was most likely driving. Maggie's right there as well. And we have Elijah and Lydia there as well. I doubt that Maggie killed these Commonwealth soldiers. They might want you to think that, but I don't think that. Even though there's blood on her knife, I don't think she's responsible for this. I think the group that they're dealing with did this. And then we have this shot of Lance talking to someone, probably Aaron. He says, I need a surgical solution. And I think this goes back to the situation where Aaron is asking for help and Lance doesn't necessarily want to help because Pamela might find out. But then we have this shot of Aaron and Gabe in front of someone with other people in the background. There's skulls on the bookcase, which is disturbing. But I think this group is the group that we saw that they're probably gonna deal with. And then we have this shot of another Commonwealth soldier who's dead on the ground. And then this shot of a person running away with Commonwealth soldiers after them. This is actually the same cell that we saw earlier. And then we have this final shot of Lance. It looks very ominous. It looks like Lance is thinking about doing something evil. So that's something to keep in mind. But that's pretty much everything when it comes to this trailer. I mean, there's a lot of clues that Commonwealth is gonna help Alexandria and this group is gonna cause problems, but maybe they're just trying to throw us off. So I'm not gonna leave it completely out that they're tricking us and that it's not quite like I explained here. But based on this trailer, that's what it appears that they're gonna do in this next episode. But that's pretty much it for this breakdown. I hope you enjoyed. If you did, smash that like button, subscribe to join our community, and press the bell to be notified when I upload on the channel. That's it for this video. See you next time for another super video.